Call the October 6, 2022 meeting to order. Salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. McHugh, roll call.
Mr. Cullen,
Mr. Cullen is excused.
Ms. Curran,
Present.
Mr. D'Angelo,
Here.
Mr. Poliafco,
Here.
Mr. Parolo,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Mr. Steltner,
Here.
Ms. Paglione,
Here.
Mr. Cicoletti.
Here. Thank you, Mr. McHugh. Solicitor?
Good evening, Mr. President. The board met in executive session before tonight's meeting at 6:30 p.m. The members here in front of you were present. The subjects were an informational presentation on district real estate, confidential student matters, and personnel. The executive session wound up just before the start of tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Hauser. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Mr. Poliafco, do I have a second?
A second.
Mr. D'Angelo? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Motion carries. Reports and presentations. Dr. Davis?
Yes. As you can see from reading the board reports from the building administrators, there are many activities, events, programs, both academically and athletically, conducted daily, weekly, and throughout the month in each building. Although it's early in the process, there is a high level of interest among our elementary grades who are interested in the instrumental portion of the music program. Ms. Rosado will be sharing more information as we continue to go through the process under the direction of Mr. Downey. The administration continues to revise and update the draft copy of the special education plan. Once all revisions are completed, I will be bringing the special ed plan to the board for adoption as required by PDE. As superintendent, one of the things that we will be implementing is I'm always interested in hearing student voices, and I think that we don't allow them the opportunity to voice their concerns, issues, or make suggestions on how we can improve not only at the building level, but at the district level. So the administration, with recommendations from their staff and guidance counselors, are going to recommend names to me that will serve at the elementary level, at the middle level, and at the high school level as a student advisory council. Basically, I'm going to listen to them and take their suggestions on or opinions about what they see going through the hallways, into the classrooms, on the athletic fields each and every day, and then share that information to the administrator and the administrators to the staff. And maybe we can come up with some different things that they would like to do or like to implement. But at least hear from them, okay, instead of us always talking to them. Allow them to talk to us, and then things that, and with the understanding that you're not always going to get what you want, but you at least have a seat at the table. That's the purpose of that. And next month, I'll talk about looking at the dress code, specifically at the high school, allow them through a task force with recommended 9th through 12th grade students under the direction of the principal and the teacher leader to allow them to talk about what they look at as far as the dress. And basically, when you have input, you know, because I want to give a shout out to the district-wide students. I'm in the buildings every day, and I'm very, very, I don't want to use the word impressed, but it's a nice feeling to know that they're addressing appropriately, even at the high school level. We have work to do. Nick has done an excellent job with that, and Pops, but I think by allowing them into the process, okay, I think we can only make our dress code better. Finally, please review the special ed data that I passed out tonight, as you can see, which will provide you with the overall picture of our special education program district-wide. This information also provides how we utilize our staff, as well as the type of disabilities we address respective to the guidelines and regulations which fall under the purview of Chapter 14. Mr. Gatto will be here on Tuesday, October 11, 2022. Thank you. That ends my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Mrs. Rosado?
Yes, thank you. So yesterday, we had the fire department come and present the fire prevention assemblies to all students in grades K through 4. This is a yearly thing that we always do in the first week of October because it's Fire Prevention Month, and so last year it had been virtual, and then this year we were back in person in here. They kind of did some of their same activities that get the kids so excited, and then they have their attention to really talk about the importance of fire prevention in their homes. And we had asked all the students to take that information home and discuss it at dinner or with their parents in the evening. They brought in 2 or 3 fire trucks out front. The kids got to go out there, look around, and that's always an exciting time for the kids. And we always appreciate that support from our local fire department. The last 2 days, the leadership team met with each grade level. We reviewed data on the students' performance on FastBridge. I had mentioned FastBridge a couple of weeks ago and how we assess students and then really look at how they're performing individually, look at grade level trends, look at trends across content area, and then try to put some interventions and talk about what we can do to change certain things and how to meet the needs of all of our students. And those, I have to say, like anytime you implement something new, it takes some time. I'm just going to look at you because you're here. It takes some time to refine a process, right? To work out kinks, to get it right. And I have to say, and we reflected upon it today after we were finished with all the grade levels, and it was refreshing. Every grade level came to the table having a plan. They looked at the data to the most finite level to really say, hey, how do I fill that gap in so a child can grow? And on the opposite side of that is for our higher performing students, okay? Let's not forget about them. And so we have pockets of, higher performing children. How do we meet their needs, right? How do we challenge them in the classroom? And so these were the conversations, lengthy, exhausting, so important, and just refreshing. We couldn't have been more proud of, I couldn't have been more proud of what I saw, and the collaboration and the teamwork at each grade level. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. So proud of them. And the little example you see on the board report, it's called like the pineapple chart. Julie Bowser, who is a principal intern right now, found this idea, and it's in the teacher's room, and we just got it finished and up and running this week. But so when let's say you're a second grade teacher and you have children in your room that are reading at a 4th, 5th, 6th grade level, okay, but you majority of your kids are second grade. How do you meet their needs? Or I've only taught second grade, so I'm not quite sure. So this chart is a way for our teachers to share their expertise and collaborate with one another without having to have a meeting. So every teacher can fill in something they're doing, right? So if Ms. Tyrell did it real quick, I said I wanted to take the picture, so she filled something in for me. What she was doing, but she did it for me. So let's say those higher level kids in her class. If I had a 5th or 6th grade teacher, talk about some of the activities and strategies they use for, let's just say, reading, and they put it on that chart, then Ms. Tyrell knows, hey, I really want to look at that for my kids who are, to challenge them. She can go into that classroom and see what they're doing. So it's a way for us to just on a regular basis open our doors, share our expertise with one another, because there are a lot of experts in our building. And oftentimes there's not enough time during the day, after school, meetings, to really collaborate. So this is one way that it's up to the individual to take advantage of it. So I'm really happy about that, so they can share with one another. And you see the picture, we had Mr. Downey, our new instrumental teacher, arranged for the music and arts to come and do a little demonstration for our students. So in there, even though I tried to do a piano picture, it's every student in grades 3 through 6, so over 400. And the 2 gentlemen came and they actually presented each instrument that was available for the kids to play in the band. And they talked a little bit about it, how they differed, families of instruments like woodwinds, brass, percussions. And then they played some tunes for him, and they actually played together at the end. And if you were on our Facebook pages or anything, you saw the excitement in the video of at least the little guys in the front who, when they recognized that it was Havana, from the melody of it, that they were, singing and dancing along. And I think that interest for our students probably now attributed to, at least right now, in the last 2 days that Mr. Downey was here, he saw 47 children in our band. And I know he told me he needed to revise his schedule because I think he has upward close to 80 who were interested. So I think I was completely blown away by that. And it's not where I feel like in the past, a lot of our kids would be like, I want to drum. Everybody had 25 drummers, drum. And now it's a real representation because of Mr. Downey setting up that presentation of all the instruments that you need to make a band. So, the kids are totally excited about that. We're excited about it. And I know Mr. Downey also said is that he wants to host parent evenings where he wants to teach the parents. So he is working on that, and he will let me know those dates, and then we'll advertise them, and perhaps you'll rekindle those days where you played the clarinet, Miss Morgan. So I don't know. But a real good vibe about it, excellent. I can't wait for December. We did tell him he needed to have a performance, and he was like, that's only a couple of months. These are elementary kids. I said, but what you don't realize is that as a parent we love everything the kids do, right? So even if it's not quite refined yet, we're still gonna love it. But just look at the growth that they'll see from December to May when we perform again. So he'll be putting that together. And then finally, on the backside, I did not have a meeting this past week. I was confused with some of the dates, so I'm going to be meeting with Ms. Klingelhofer tomorrow, and we'll get together and make sure that I have all the dates correct for the next meetings coming. So that's all. I don't really have a report about that right now.
Just to reiterate, I spoke to Mr. Downey yesterday, and he said that he spoke with you about the parents, okay? And he told me as yesterday he had 71 signed up. So you're telling me 80. So we're over 10% of the school.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So the board is going to give Mr. Downey another day.
Okay.
Okay. As far as the parents right now, Dr. Davis is going to talk with him. Let's try and get this program up. But he thanks you, he told me, for the support because you agreed with the parent night. But right now, I think that the board agreed that they just want him to get this band going. And he's confident that that things are going to go in the right direction because he said if I could have another day, even with my busy schedule, I think that things will get a lot better. So he's going to be granted that extra day. So Dr. Davis,
He'll find me.
and you will have to sit down with him and figure out, the
Yeah,
schedule.
and I think when we did sit down with him prior to him beginning and, just kind of set a little bit of, showed him that not parameters, but showed him like the master schedule, good times to pull, what grades and what times to stay away from. And then I said, when you're finished, just give it to the grade level chairs. They'll review it again for you because they're their specific kids. But he's the expert. So, it's a two-way street, but I really am leaning on him for his modeling, and he's already off to a great start, and he's going to add on a day.
Just like you said, just be aware of the schedule. You guys know the schedule. Make sure that, there are none of the important periods. That's why the board agreed for that third day.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll work out.
And with having him here 3 days, perhaps he could even rotate so that a student wouldn't miss the same period.
There you go. Yeah, he said he'll gladly sit down with
Yep.
you and work out a good schedule. Okay, Mr. Nastasi.
Speaking of fire prevention month, Fire Academy started with 22 students this semester through Bucks County Community College. We already had our first field trip. The students went with Mr. McGinn and visited the Lower Bucks Public Safety Training Center as a group, all attended. Students were exposed to the ground operations of the public safety helicopter. The students were exposed to the Jeffstat Medevac helicopter and and Operation Emergency Medevac Procedures. There are some really good pictures on our school-wide district Facebook page. There's probably like 20, 25 pictures of our students' experience. They were in the gurney, they got strapped to the gurney, they were experiencing all the gadgets within the helicopter. Actually, the helicopter had a call, so they had to evacuate, and they actually got to see the helicopter take off. So it was a very good experience for our students. We had college planning last night. We had between 25 and 30 parents show up for college planning from Jim Sell from Bucks County Community College, which is probably 5 to 10 more parents than we had last year. On the 12th of this month, we will be testing our PSATs for grades 10 and 11. That will be a half a day for those students. Grades 9 and 12 will be virtual that day. On the 21st, grades 7 through 12 will have a half a day due to our middle and high school safety training and meeting with the police department and SWAT teams. This Monday, our National Alliance on Mental Health NAMI started. That's one of our social emotional learning groups we have for our students. This week, homecoming activity started this week. The home football game will take place on Friday at 7 o'clock. The homecoming dance will be held Saturday at 6:30 in our gym. Students are very excited and fired up about our assembly tomorrow. It should be very exciting. We're going to have a school-wide homecoming assembly to show our school spirit. Our food pantry will continue to be open past October 7th. Any donations, ask Ms. Renard. The community has really stepped up as of late with donations. I know my whole street, they got together and bought a whole bunch of groceries this week and brought to the high school, and they're going to bring some tomorrow. So the food pantry is really starting to fill up. Our students do use the food pantry, and some things are still needed. We will continue the postings on our website, and I'll eventually do a robocall for some pantry items. Next, our students participated and attended the PA-free Enterprise Week and also participated in a roundtable discussions with other students from Bucks County this week. Sports-wise, our field hockey team is, their last 4 games, they're 3-1. They're currently ranked number 7 in District 1, which is a huge improvement from last year. Our football team's 3-1, and we're ranked number 1 in District 1. And we host Jenkintown tomorrow night, homecoming, 7 o'clock. Junior high field hockey is 1-0, and our junior high football is 1-1. One thing I did not add here, which I would like to talk about, talking about, really being inspired from the elementary music program. Our music program at the high school was really down. And so we had people come in, we got audited, and discussing things with Mr. Molden, and Mr. Molden really is grabbing the bull by the horn. So we went from 12 to 22 students in our new elective guitar class. We went from 3 to 12 students in our drum line, which those students will be required to do 2 performances. One will be tomorrow, and I believe one's going to be tomorrow night at our football game. But I sat in there this week, and I actually participated. But it was really cool to see kids that I would never even thought of who would be interested in playing the drums or playing different drums. It was really, they were so well organized and so well, they really had things together. And zero out of 12 ever read a note, played an instrument, picked up a stick, nothing, and they sounded phenomenal. So I think tomorrow during our assembly, I think the kids are going to go wild. So it's just something positive that I want to give Mr. Molden and those kids some kudos to.
What time is that assembly?
9:30.
The high school.
Yes. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Nastasi. Okay, reports, comprehensive plan, special education plan, ESSERS, Title I, II, and IV. Who gives that report?
No, that's done through Dr. Schaefer. That has to be maintained on the agenda,
Oh,
as regulations.
okay. Thank you, Dr. Davis.
You're welcome.
Public participation, anyone from the public?
Hi, I'm Dory Morgan. So I need to piggyback a little bit off of what Mr. Nastasi said about giving some recognition to our high school students. As many of you know, we have a good number of our elementary learning support students participate in Bucks County Challenger Mustangs over at Neshaminy High School Sunday mornings. And for years, our kids have only had the option to have Pennsbury buddies or Neshaminy buddies. We've been working with Coach Ciotti, Pops, making it happen. We've had a great turnout from the high school football team to support our students on the field as well as students from other schools. And it's fantastic to see them making those connections, building relationships with our learning support students who wouldn't have an opportunity to participate in flag football any other way. They're showing up on their Sunday mornings. I'm sure they'd rather be sleeping in. Quite frankly, a lot of mornings I would too. But it's great to see them out there building those connections and facilitating just a tremendous opportunity. And they have represented our district, the high school, the football team exceptionally well. It's intimidating to walk out on that field. I did it in high school myself, and it was not fun. And so to see them walk out there when there's all of these other teams that have known each other for years and they're taking their place, they are doing an exceptional job, and they need to be recognized for that. I'd also, on behalf of Bristol Borough Thrive, would like to remind everyone that kickball registration for our Challenger athletes is ongoing now. We kick off kickball on Saturday morning over at the Little League field. So I'd like to thank, again, Pops, Bristol Borough Little League, School Board Council for supporting us in this endeavor. We're very excited to see who we have come out, and it's also an opportunity for some service learning hours for anyone that would like to help learning support students have this experience in the district. November, we are kicking off Movers and Makers, which is will be taking place in both the elementary school and I believe 1 week we're taking over the high school on Saturday mornings to do some sports activities, but also a little bit of creative, give them an opportunity to reinforce some OT or speech skills with different types of play and creation. And then we're bringing back basketball clinics for our kids in December and January, with the goal being that our learning support students would then have the opportunity to be prepped and ready to go for the bigger activities with Borough Rec. So I want to thank everyone for your support, and if you know of anyone who needs to hear about this, please send them my way.
Excuse me, the program, the basketball program, December, January, will you email me when you guys start?
Absolutely. You
Thank
know
you.
I'll email everyone.
I enjoyed that last year. It was very nice.
We had so much fun, and a number of the students were able to move on and participate with their gen ed peers. And it set them up to move towards integration in a sports model, which is the point of this. Even if they couldn't, they walked away with a great experience, and they got to feel good about what they went out and did. So,
Yeah, just let me know when that starts. I kind of came in at the end there.
we will get you looped in early, and we have it split over the 2 months. I know Wynn is hoping to see Mr. D'Angelo again, and he is hunting down Miss Cullen in the hallways frequently to talk about basketball as well. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that ends public participation. Let's go on to new business.
Okay, under new business, item A, Mr. President, I motion that we adopt the attached policy 249, bullying/cyberbullying.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Poliafco? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries.
Item B, I motion we adopt the attached resolution number 22-23-1 entitled, "A Resolution of the Board of School Directors Implementing Act 57 of 2022," as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Paglione? Questions?
Yeah, what is that?
Sure. I just want to clarify that Mr. McHugh has the updated, just to make sure we're having the same document, the updated resolution. But on July 11th, Governor Wolf signed Act 57 into law. That amends the Local Tax Collection Act. The Act 57 requires tax collectors to waive imposition of penalties, interest, and other charges previously imposed for late payment of real estate taxes in a specific certain limited set of circumstances. Prior to the act, the law in this Commonwealth basically allowed tax collectors to impose penalties and interest and other charges for late payment of real estate taxes, even if the taxpayer didn't get the bill. So Act 57 was intended to remedy that situation where a new property owner doesn't get the real estate tax bill, presumably because it was sent to the old property owner. Sometimes the Board of Assessment takes time to update property addresses, et cetera, and only learns through real estate taxes when they get a delinquency notice or a lien. Act 57 requires all local governments, such as the school board, that impose real estate taxes to adopt resolutions to require that their real estate tax collectors comply with the law. In order for a taxpayer to take advantage of the relief under the act, they must complete a waiver form within 12 months of acquiring a property and do three things. One, they must prove their acquisition and ownership of the tax property. Two, they must sign an affirmation form stating that the real estate tax bill for the property was not received by the taxpayer. And three, the taxpayer must pay the entire amount of the face value of real estate taxes owed on the property at the time the waiver form is submitted. Act 57 becomes effective the first tax year following the effective date of the legislation, which means the 2022-2023 fiscal year for school districts, i.e. July 2023 real estate tax bills.
Okay, Mr. Hauser, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. McHugh. He actually had a pretty nice summary prepared.
Okay, so I have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Nays, abstention, motion carries. Item C.
Mr. President, I motion that we approve the change order for the high school Phase 2 window replacement project in overall amount not to exceed $158,185 for the reasons set forth in a September 15, 2022 letter from TE Construction Services, LLC, to Gilmore and Associates School District Engineers.
Do I have a second, Mrs. Paglione? Questions?
Yeah, what's happening here with this?
From what I understand, according to this letter, I think that windows were missed, and when the engineer went through the building along with the contractor, are we doing this window? No, that's not on there. This is not on there. And the request for the two metal doors, which needed to be replaced, and that was recommended by Chief Moores, those windows came to the amount of $124,000, the ones that were missed.
And the doors, this is representing the installation and cost for the doors?
Here, it says, the contractor provided a cost of 3 additional doors requested by Mr. Fred Cullen for the cafeteria, which is the amount of $33,500 for removal and reinstallation of the doors, ceiling, and electrical work. The cost was also in line with the bid pricing. So even with the increase, the low bidder is still nowhere near the second bidder.
Correct.
So we're still under that. Any other questions?
But this 158 is including the doors, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
That's the total.
that's the total. It was 124 for the additional windows and then the
Yeah.
33.
Okay. I'm good.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries. Item 7,
Under
personnel.
personnel, item A, accept the resignation of James Petrino, PCA, effective immediately.
Second.
Mr. Poliafco? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries.
Item B, Mr. President, I motion to accept the resignation of Michelle Rivera, PCA, effective immediately.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Paglione? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries. Item C,
Mr. President, I motion we accept the resignation of Maria Santiago, PCA, effective October 7th, 2022.
Second.
Mrs. Paglione.
Just make a quick announcement, kind of a public plea, as you see, the school district's in need of personal care aides, district assistants, so anybody interested, please stop by the administration office and we'll give you an application.
All right, thank you, Mr. McHugh. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries. Item D,
Mr. President, I motion to approve to hire Carmen Melendez as a cafeteria employee at a rate of $10.89 for non-certified and $15.32 per hour when she's certified with no benefits as per negotiated contract effective the 2022-2023 school year, and that would be pending clearances.
do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Poliafco? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries. Item 8, information and discussion. Our next board meeting will be October 20th, 2022. A reminder, Friday, October 14th, will be a half a day for the elementary school. And Monday is a holiday, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so no schools. Okay, so we'll add that in there. Before adjournment, let's go around the horn real quick. Mr. Smith?
I'd just like to say I'm glad to hear that the music program's a big hit right now, and I can't wait to see how it goes as the year progresses. So great job, everyone. That's it.
Ms. Curran?
I just want to wish the football team good luck on their homecoming game, and that the students have a great time at the homecoming dance. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Curran. Mr. Parolo?
Yeah, I'd just like to piggyback off of Tony about the music program. It's really good, and about the recreational program too, because that's really taken off. And Mike Poblowski's doing a great job, and all the people that are helping him. And we got more going on now than we have in years. So,
You have an update on the scoreboard?
yes, it came in. It'll be up within a week or so,
Okay.
Mr. President.
Yes,
That's all.
We say we got one more thing to say.
go ahead.
I want to, I had to. Sorry. I want to thank the Teen Foundation. They dropped off a check for $500 for our homecoming dance to pay for the DJ and other things. So that was that was an awesome gift. Thank you very much.
Who's in charge of the Team Foundation?
I don't know.
Our school board member there.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
She dropped it off
Ms. Curran,
first.
okay,
She
so
dropped
there
it
you go.
off, so I gotta give the props out. It was awesome. Thank you.
Good job.
All righty.
Mr. Chicoletti?
That's great.
Mr. Chicoletti, one thing for me I forgot too.
That's okay.
Right after the last board meeting, I accepted a check on behalf of Snyder Girardi and the district from Fifth Ward, the Italian Mutual Aid. As we know, they sold their building, but they had to kind of liquidate, I guess, any assets they had, so they picked different nonprofit organizations to donate money to, and so they donated $5,000 to our student pantry. And I clarified, because you had announced that evening, and you were doing a collection, that with Mr. Memi, who is, I guess, their accountant, that it would be okay that money spread throughout the district at both buildings. And so Mr. Nastasi is aware that he has access to use that money for the pantry as well to fill his.
That's great.
Yeah.
Tell Mr.
That's
Member,
great.
thank you.
So,
Good job. Yeah, that was,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
I was wondering what happened with the money.
a lot of different,
Yeah, that's what the bylaws were set up, that
Right.
it didn't go back to the members. It had to be dispersed throughout the community.
so they gave us $5,000.
Wow, that's great.
That's nice.
That's
Amazing.
good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mrs. Paglione.
I also am happy and enthused that our music program is up and coming, and so many students are interested.
Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Mr. Polyafco?
I just want to wish everybody a happy and safe and sports, all the sports teams, and make sure everybody stays healthy. And the music program seems to be off and running, and I wish them the best. That'd be it.
Thank you, Mr. Polyafco. Mr. Stiltner?
It's great to see a lot of activity. We got the music program, we got the recreation stuff going on, a lot of outside community involvement. It's just great to be part of it and looking forward to keep it going.
Dr. Davis?
Everything's moving along.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Hauser?
Good to see everyone again. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Hauser. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Mr. D'Angelo?
Yeah, just a couple things. You guys all got a mug from the BAA, and this is something that we had our golf tournament this year. We really did well, even though it was under hard circumstances, because it was tough getting people to golf. But, you know, it starts out that we give $1,500 to each student athlete on graduation day. But I was just looking over the latest list of requests from all across our school. Math night, we granted them some money. The wrestling team, we granted them, they're trying to reconstitute, so we gave them some money. There was a reading project about imagining if you were back in the times of, in like the 1500s in medieval times. We helped them out. There was a really great project that I know, and not to say people's names, but some of our special ed teachers have the kids making lunch and stuff like that and delivering it. So just kind of learning for the food, we gave them money. Of course, Silver Bay, we sent our juniors. We got a request for the senior prom. We gave them some money. And of course, Mr. Carlson, I don't know if it's related to the grant he got, but he had another thing where he's helping them create like a science project with missiles or launch, something like that.
He's
And I
applied
know
for
he'd
all
asked
the
Mr.
grants.
Ciccoletti if he could come because they need targets to get back and forth. But they're only foam balls, Dave. They're nothing.
Okay,
bad,
all right.
okay? But my point to you is thank everyone. We, like, it's all being echoed here. We have an incredible town that sponsors, of course, your firm. We've got some bucks for them for making a really generous donation, right? And so what I say to you is there is a lot of stuff. Al, you said it. There's more things going on here than I think in the last 25 years. And some of them will work and some of them won't, but that's okay. The only other thing I have, Dr. Davis, is, you know, I love this thing that you put out with the special ed, and so we can see, and there's so many of our kids that really require specialized services, and we're making sure we have them. And at our last board meeting at the IU, they talked about assistive services, and which could be anything from getting a mouse that works or something that taps, just something that kids might need to help them learn better that they need. And so I know that we have a big list. Please, if any of those kids, I mentioned something to Mr. Nastasi, if any of these kids need anything, reach out to the IU. We have capacity, and now is the time to lock these things in. Because remember, the government threw a lot of money at districts. So if a kid needs a bigger screen, a bigger pad, anything that a kid needs to help them, please do, reach out. Thank you. Thank you.
The only thing I have to say is that, John, I know you're instrumental with the Athletic Association about them donating things. So pass word down that you know, we're grateful for that.
Yes,
I know that you're in their ear with these
Yeah.
things too, so it's a great organization, so.
Among many.
Yeah, yes. Did you play golf that day? Did you shoot?
No, I didn't. I was on the hole. I was on the hole where who would get closest to the green, right?
He was watching.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
golf
because
either.
somebody would win a new car if they hit a hole in one. So actually, I was there to make sure that if it was getting close, I had to throw my body in front of it, so it's okay.
Well, okay, so I don't have anything to add. I think everybody said it, so, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.